My name is Harrington. I live in Vero Beach, Florida. One of my favorite hobbies is cars, automotive photography, and I was diagnosed with Tourette Syndrome at age 7.
My name's Tanya Sockol. I am from Vero Beach. I have an absolute passion for Tourette Syndrome awareness and advocacy, and I have 2 children who have Tourette Syndrome and a husband who has Tourette Syndrome. Who's going first here?
Age before beauty, go ahead.
Okay. What is the saddest thing that someone has ever told you about Tourette Syndrome?
I was in 3rd grade, and my teacher told me that I was never going to be anything, that I was going to fail out of school, and I shouldn't even really try. And at that time, I had just been diagnosed. I was dealing with a lot of tics, anything from vocal to motor, that was basically prohibiting me from doing anything.
Do you know you never told me that?
Yeah, I know I've never told you that, but you always push me to be something better, so I didn't want to tell you that the one person that I go to every single day told me that I wasn't going to be anything.
What do you wish people knew about Tourette Syndrome?
That it's not something that we can control, and no matter how good things seem, we still have some form of Tourette Syndrome, whether or not it's a minor tic or some kind of OCD that we're still struggling with. All right, I can go. Okay. What has been the most difficult part about living with Tourette Syndrome?
A lack of knowledge of clinicians, the lack of knowledge in the community, the lack of understanding of what Tourette actually is. And I think the idea that Tourette is just the swearing disease and, you know, it's a joke. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. In general, do you feel like your family, friends, peers understand what you go through? Do you think that they get it?
I think that a majority of my family, my friends, and my peers all understand the struggles that I go through, and they're empathetic and considering of it, especially my family. I mean, from the time that I was diagnosed till now, they've all had to deal with me and live with me, and I mean, even you pretty much raised me, so.
Pretty much.
So you know how difficult it was. And when it comes to my friends, my best friend knows how difficult it is. I mean, he saw me sobbing during class because I couldn't write, or I was struggling with a tic and I just couldn't focus and I was disrupting the whole class. And you know, I stand up for a presentation and I have my project I worked on for hours, and I do a tic and I drop it and it all just breaks to pieces. And he was there for all of that.
I talk to a lot of families who are struggling, who have young children that have Tourette Syndrome, and those children are depressed, and some of them are even suicidal at very young ages, and it's a very overwhelming thing for the family to deal with. And my question for you would be this: if you had a chance to talk to those children, what is the one thing that you would want those kids to know?
Time goes on. I remember when I was suicidal and depressed that I based my whole life around Tourette Syndrome. I just thought that everything around me was awful. But as time kind of went on and I got older, I started to realize that there's so much more to me than Tourette Syndrome. I mean, I love photography, I love biking, I may suck at BMX, but I still love it. I'm a huge athlete, or at least I try to be. Every now and then my TS does affect that, but I think that once I got past that point of fearing my Tourette Syndrome, that I was able to conquer it. And that's the one thing that I want kids, anyone who's dealing with suicidal thoughts or is depressed because of their Tourette Syndrome, to know that at some point in time, you are going to conquer your Tourette Syndrome. And it's just finding that piece of you that's different than Tourette Syndrome, that isn't Tourette Syndrome. And everybody has it. All right, Mom, this has been fun and all.
Yeah, it's been fun, Connor. I'm glad you opened up to me. That was really interesting to hear after all these years, something that you finally told me. So thanks for sharing that.
No problem. You learn something new every day.